David Bay here for MuscularDevelopment.com. I'm hanging out here with somebody you guys know very well, muscular development athlete, IFBB pro, Justin Compton. Justin, a lot of talk about not being in the Olympia. We're not going to talk about that today. That's kind of one of those things that you've got your mind made up, said and done. So let's fast forward and let's talk about 2016. Let's talk about what you have going on in the off season. You know, obviously everybody saw the size and the symmetry and everything you brought to the Arnold. So even though you're very young, you have a very complete physique. And so when people are critiquing you, hard to pick out spots that you really need to work on. But obviously, being your own worst critic, you know, talk to us a little bit about what you're working on for the rest of 2015 and looking on improving for in 2016.
You know, for the remainder of this year, I'm not focusing on, you know, like a big leap, like a 10 or 15 pound, you know, gain on stage. I feel like a good 7 or 8 pounds, as long as it's put in the right places, is going to really complete my physique. So, you know, once I got back from Australia this year, you know, I basically pulled up my pictures and I was like, okay, you know, I'm very hard on myself, you know, so I was looking at every little detail of where I went wrong. Obviously, you know, posing is one of the things I really got to work on, and you're just nailing that. But that's not something I need to work on in the off season. It's something I need to, you know, work on a lot longer during prep. You know, I looked at little areas, you know, like my back needs to be wider, you know, it could be a little bit fuller through my chest, my hamstrings need to hang a little lower. So, you know, while I have this time off, I'm going to utilize that to make sure that I bring all this to the stage next year. So hopefully, you know, when I come to the Arnold, I bring a much bigger and better package and more complete. And also next year, I'm not sure what the schedule's going to look like, but people know I normally only compete once a year, and it's kind of been my thing for, you know, the last 4 or 5 years. Though this upcoming year, I have several plans to do spring shows, and I'm going to do the Olympia, and I want to do the fall shows as well. So hopefully everything rolls good, and in 2016, you guys will see me on stage a whole lot more.
Well, that's obviously that's great news for the fans. I'm sitting here listening to this like, okay, from a magazine standpoint, that's great for us, and I'm sure everybody at Muscular Development on the business side loves hearing that. You know, that's one of the things that we've talked about. I've had you know, multiple opportunities to talk with guys like Bob Ciccarillo and Sean Ray, you know, some of the other veterans that work with MD, and the question that keeps getting brought up is, where are these guys now? You know, the industry's not dying. That's guys who like to start, you know, talk and create drama on Facebook.
Yeah.
But the fans would definitely like to see the bigger name guys at shows. And what you're having happen this year is, you know, guys will do a show, they'll qualify for the Olympia, maybe do one more, and they're done. And so what we're left with is, you know, not a lot of the big name guys at these smaller shows. And so I think from a fan standpoint, from a media standpoint, people are going to be excited to hear that. Now, when you say a number of shows, I mean, are we talking, you know, 2 or 3, or are we talking you're going to hit a bunch?
Probably 6 next year, maybe 5, 6 shows total. So not just, you know, the Arnold and the Olympia, you know, I'm going to be coming to a few other ones as well.
All right, well, there's some people that probably aren't going to be too happy to hear that, because obviously right now with the points qualification system, they're not bumping down. You know, if you take second, somebody's already qualified for the Olympia, as far as I'm concerned right now, and you guys will have to double check that. They're not bumping down Olympia qualification spots like they used to for guys that have been following it for a while. Before the qualification point system was put into place, if somebody won a show who already had an Olympia qualification, the next people down in line then earned their Olympia qualification. Not the case this year, so guys are really going to have to bring it. You had touched upon the fact that you're not really looking for that weight gain in size. You know, one of the big talks after the Arnold was waist, and I think everybody who looks at your physique knows that you don't have a big distended waist, and everybody breathes out, and there's pictures of everybody breathing out, which I think that's the case. If you look at your front double bicep and your side shots, you can see there's a nice tapered waist. But is that something that you've been focusing on or making a concern of yours, considering that the IFBB does seem to be focusing more on that?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, everybody breathes, you know, and I didn't put enough emphasis into my posing. So rather than breathing through my chest and my diaphragm, you know, I wasn't really, I guess I just wasn't prepared enough to be on stage. So when I got gassed and I got winded up there, you know, I just got tired and I kind of gave out. So that's going to be one of the things that I focus on. You know, I have naturally small hips, and plus, you know, this show I kind of overcarved a little bit for the Arnold. I mean, I'm not trying to make up excuses. It is what it is. So, you know, I'm just going to make sure next year when I come in, you know, I fix the problem. I come in and I show people.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to let Justin get going here right now. I think I speak for everybody when I say we're definitely excited to see you back at the Arnold, but more excited about the fact that we're going to have a big-name pro hitting a whole lot more shows than just the Arnold and the Olympia, so you guys are going to have to keep an eye out for that moving forward, rather, into 2016. But once again, we're going to wrap things up. So, Justin, appreciate you taking the time. We're at Pittsburgh right now doing this interview. Justin just had one of his guys earn an IFBB Pro card. Maybe you can step on stage with one of your buddies. But for now, we're going to let Justin get going. So once again, this is David Bay with IFBB Pro Justin Compton, looking forward into 2016 for MuscularDevelopment.com.